But that I've been trying to get you on the show. What up, everybody? Good morning. Good morning.
Trump.
We just come right on. That's right. My man, Uncle Luke, aka Kaneem, in the building.
Trump. That's what I was talking about.
You said Trump. Okay, yours.
Nah, it's all kind of conspiracies out there, brother. Anyway, good morning, everybody.
Yes,
I know
indeed.
he kind of just flipped the switch and been like, bam.
So
But
let's
good
do this
morning
real quick.
to and I'm gonna start the day off like 80 in the day. All hearts and minds are clear.
Right. Clear yourself because we about to fill it up with something. All right, let me. You know what? I didn't invite my people on the text line. Let's get this popping. Hold on 1 second. All right, so we can go ahead and get started. Like I said, there's a company. I don't know why I didn't write the company down, but you can do the research. They want to have flying taxis by 2025. I think it was 2025. So
Flying taxis, though.
flying taxi.
Now it's interesting that you say that flying taxis. I wonder.
Good morning. Good
Look,
morning.
my whole thing is
Good
where
Philip.
would they actually
And Philip.
land?
Right.
I mean, a street would be wide enough. It depends on how big the taxi is,
Right. So let me get that. Let me get that picture out, and so you guys can see it. Let me.
and if it's yeah, I guess because I know traffic and cars and stuff like that.
Right.
That would be, like how would it be warnings? Would it be an audible
I
sound? Would it
think.
be
Well,
lights?
I think with flying, if we're now venturing into um the flying. What's up, Jeff? Good morning. Good morning.
What
Um,
up, buddy?
if we are venturing into the, let me put this up because that'll grab some people. If you have flying taxis, right? Like right now, you have Teslas, the all electric, so they got to have charging stations. Charging stations have to be because I can't go as far as if there's no charging station, then it's risky, and I might die in the middle of the wherever.
That's why
Um,
you keep it local.
right, exactly, exactly. We put it
Not very often
and
you will see a Tesla on a long
right, sure.
journey
Not
highway.
yet. Right.
Not yet. You're right. Not yet. I don't see nobody taking a Tesla from here to Nacogdoches, Mississippi. You know what I'm saying?
So with the flying taxis, though, Richard, all it's gonna take. So like we had my man on yesterday with we talked about land. All it takes is just having small spaces for taxis to go. You know what I'm saying? Like so instead of you having to get on a plane to go to well, not even a plane. Like say we're here, we want to go to Savannah. For us, for the most part, what's that about a 4 or 5 hour drive? You get on a flying taxi here, like let's just say I'm in the Henry County area. There's a Henry County pad. You go to them. Hey, I'm going to Savannah. There will be a Savannah pad land there, and you get like
Oh, okay.
in
I
a
got
rental
you.
car
I
or
got
an
you.
Uber. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not going to be like door to door. I'm not saying door to not yet. It won't
That's
be
what I was thinking. That's
right
why
like
I
a
brought up
transportation
street.
space. Yeah, like a
That's why I brought
transportation.
up street. But
Right.
you're talking more or less of commute. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
if I need to get from Douglasville to Covington,
Right.
I can get there in maybe
Right.
30 minutes instead of an hour and a half. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
So
Oh,
you
okay. Just have a different
all right.
pads in different spots.
So if you think like Atlanta will have a pad, and then Houston will have a pad. Like think about it, right? You have Houston, then you have one like in Charlotte, North Carolina. The major cities, so you can kind of get there without the longer flights. There'll probably be more pads, so you don't have to wait. You know, and then with us, we're not at private jet money, so we gotta like I don't want to fly. I mean, I got to get there quick though. You know what I'm saying? Like so, get on the pad. Just if there's one if you think New York is a big hub as well, and there's probably much travel between like New York and Jersey, New York and Jersey. So the city, now I have to deal with all that traffic. I can get right into Jersey, and then take it from there. You know.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
All right, now that I got somebody landing in front of my front door out the way, I
Right.
got you. Makes sense.
Yeah. Because not yet, not the front door. I believe just to get you there quicker.
Yeah, get you to a remote destination quicker,
Right. Right.
and then from there you can do your Uber or your
Right.
Lyft.
Right. And you already have
Gotcha.
it planned because you know what time you're gonna land. And there's 4 people. So yeah, I 100% believe that can happen within a few years. I know Richard said pure fiction. Rich, if think about it, that's very simple. FAA just got to clear the space between where the planes are and where we're at, and whatever's the safest. Because like they already talking about the drones for Amazon, right? Because this thing is
I
becoming
think
real.
they already doing it.
They
They
already
already
right.
got that, but
So
that's
if you
in
think
Washington State.
right,
I
so what's
think
going
they
to
doing.
happen?
Yeah, I think they like Seattle and Tacoma and what's the other one? Yeah, I think Seattle and Tacoma. That little
Right,
area they doing like test pilot and the program,
right,
like how they got the automated Amazon stores where they have no employees and just walk in
right.
there. And you don't even have to bring out your money. Like when you walk out the store, it
Yes,
automatically
exactly.
charges you. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And so, yeah, I'm definitely so all because I always think like long as I feel like the FAA is going to be like, okay, planes are here, kites are here, like between here, this is now commercial space. You just got to get a license, and they'll just control, like so nobody runs into each other. Like you got to have a device,
Oh yeah,
So
I'm
it's
thinking
definitely going to be.
500 feet. Like if
You
you
said right,
if you 500 feet, because well, a lot of people may not know transmission towers for the power company, they
right,
go up to 200 feet. Right now, this is
right.
just for the power company. Then you got the cell phone towers
Okay.
that go up to I think if I'm not mistaken, they are 250 feet.
Okay, so hold on. You said the transmission, like the electric, like those electric towers,
You
the,
know how you see them
the
in
big
some
ones.
neighborhoods, those transmission lines that you'll see, and they
Yeah,
have a track of
right.
transmission lines.
The ones they always say causing cancer, kind of thing. those
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 lines,
things. Okay,
those are
okay.
transmission lines.
So
Yeah.
and you said they go to 500, and you said the
No,
cell phone
no, no. They go to 200 feet.
200. Okay, okay.
Yeah. I think
It's the
the
space lease rockets. The jets is right, right, right. You
I
already
think
know.
I think the cell phone towers
Right.
or whatnot go up to 200 to 300 feet.
Okay. Okay.
But I'm not in the cell phone industry. I'm just
Yeah, I got you.
thinking about
What
how
you
tall they may be. You know what I'm
right?
saying? Because you know,
Oh shoot.
but I think if you keep it above 500 feet and below 1,000, I think that would be the perfect space for it. By like a helicopter, you
Right.
know what I'm saying? But I don't know how tall. What's the tallest building in the world?
Ooh. Uh,
Is
I
that's in
think
Dubai
Dubai.
now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how many feet that is, but if I'm not mistaken, they got a helicopter pad on it.
Okay.
You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
wow. Okay.
And I
Well, that
and
makes
I
sense.
think I think that is more than
Hey,
a
that's
thousand feet
right.
tall,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken. But what's going on, brother? How you doing,
Good
man?
morning. Good morning. Good morning. What's more than 1,000 feet tall?
The tallest building in the world.
Oh,
I think it's more than 1,000 feet tall.
Let's see.
I want to say for sure, but I mean that's about a
Yeah.
quarter, well, a 20th of a mile.
Uh, a name I really can't pronounce, but yeah, it's like 2,700 feet.
2,700 feet.
They said the tip
yeah.
was
Burj
2,700,
Khalifa.
22. Yeah. There you go.
Oh, so
There
that's
you go.
half a mile,
Yeah.
just about. You know what I'm saying? So it's a half a mile tall, but I think it got a helicopter pad that you can land on it.
Wow.
Yeah, I
What's
knew
up,
it was
Mike?
in Dubai.
Something.
Michael?
I said it had to be in Dubai.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Appreciate you.
yeah, yeah.
Appreciate you. Sam said, I'm ready for the pellet cooking. He said, your girl is tired. You know, you can't do the pellet cooking. When you know, put the little pill in, you get a big old chicken. That's scary.
That is definitely some Jetsons type stuff
Right,
right there.
right.
No, what is that movie?
Now, what was that? It was another
Back to the
show,
Future.
man.
Back to the Future, I think it was.
Bruce Willis, though. The movie Bruce Willis did with Chris
Was it?
Tucker.
Right. I can see it.
Not the Fifth Element.
Yes.
Yeah, she put it in the microwave and it came out to
Fifth Element.
Fifth
Yeah,
Element.
Fifth Element.
Okay.
She was hungry, bro.
I was trying to think. I knew I saw a show like, you know what I'm saying, like you put it in there and a whole gourmet meal come out.
Right.
They said chicken.
Yeah.
Oh, that is funny.
Yeah.
Oh, let me ask you something since it's Freestyle Friday. Hey,
right.
Brian, do you know who Uncle Luke is?
You mean the music guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, me and AD were going back and forth on some of his music from back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I remember his music from back in the day, but I was never there, like a real fan of their music, but I knew I was aware of it.
Yeah.
Well, and plus it was on the East Coast. You was on the West Coast back then. Now we talking about the 80s.
No.
Oh no, you might have been in Chicago.
Yeah.
They were because they were 80s, right? I mean 90s.
Yeah.
90s. They were 90s.
No, they were 80s.
Yeah, I was in
not 90s.
Not 90s.
They were 80s.
Okay, so yeah, I was still in Illinois.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
For me,
they went into the 90s.
Right. Me, that's when I won't discover, but that's when I really heard them, in the 90s. 90s.
Because I was in the sixth grade.
Right.
The first time I ever. Everybody said, "Hey, we want some." Hey. I was in the sixth grade. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I don't know if everybody on BOL knows what that whole little
Two Live Crew. Yeah,
was.
It's
Two Live Crew. That's
Two Live Crew. Yes, indeed.
They
had a couple of hits that kind of skeeked into New York. New York is always closed down.
Weren't they banned in the USA?
Oh yeah, right. They had a song.
Oh, yeah,
they had a song. They wrote a song about it.
Yeah,
like the hit.
Now that came out in the 90s. Yes.
Right. I think it's "Man in the USA."
Yeah. Yep.
Oh man.
Classic. They was the ones that Congress and the Senate, federal government, made them come out and start putting explicit lyrics on all albums, titles, and everything.
Were they the first? No.
I thought
NWA.
that was
No, that was
Easy. Those guys.
Yeah. That was Two Live Crew.
NWA
made it that way. Everybody might think that it was NWA because they would say F the Police.
Right.
Was not the case. That was Two Live Crew.
We're gonna research that. I'm challenging that. I don't know if it was even I'm gonna say it might have been somebody else because back in the day though, they were pretty. Everyone was kind of clean for the most part.
In the early 80s. You're talking about the late 80s. 88, 87, like LL, 88, 89.
He was clean, but he had some of his songs. He dropped an F-bomb in there,
Well, you have to remember that from that era, there was an entire campaign against doing drugs. Just say no.
Oh yeah.
And the music was anti-drugs. And then the music became pro-drug dealing. And then the music became pro-drug using. We went from saying no.
Now only reason I'm saying from 80 to 88 was Ronald Reagan, right? Nancy Reagan was pushing Say No to Drugs campaign, this, that, and the third, right? So from 80 to 84, just say no, you're right. Hey, from 80 to 84, they had a clean version of hip hop or rap music, right? So this was the days of Run DMC. This was the days of LL Cool J, Crush Groove. This was the day of Kumo D and basketball, Curtis Blow, 80 to
No, this
86.
you can't put Curtis Blow and Kool Moe Dee. Kool Moe Dee was after Curtis Blow.
We talking about Spain. I said 80 to 84. I'm not talking about 1 year.
Well, I'm saying to me, see, I guess, yeah, maybe I see it differently.
Yeah, no, it's a span. That's I'm not.
Yeah, I can, yeah, I received that. Yeah.
Oh, I'm on mute. I'm with you on that.
80s, across the 80s, from 80 to 90. You're saying because Curtis
Yeah.
Blow was in the 80s,
Yes.
Kool Moe Dee was
So
in
from 85,
Right.
Ice-T, 6 in the morning. From 85, 86, 87, that's when Eazy-E, NWA, 2 Live Crew, all these people was coming out right there from 85 on. Who else was explicit back then?
Ephraim said the drug pusher music started about 92 to 2001. The drug user started about 2002 until now. Kind of, like, well, I was thinking like, well, everyone's always kind of been smoking.
Too Short, 88, 86, 87.
So I don't know.
A lot of folks don't even think Too Short was in there in the 80s. It just depends. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Like when you talk about being in because NWA was in 88.
Right.
And he's in 80, actually it was 86, but they didn't really get popular nationwide to 88.
Wow.
But they was talking about, I don't know if a lot of folks remember Dope Man. But that was 87, 88. Right. You know what I'm saying? But because they had blew up so quick.
Right. Yeah.
I missed a lot of that because I was overseas.
Yeah.
And everything was late.
Transition.
Oh,
I think, yeah. I don't know. It just transitioned. And like, go ahead.
No, go ahead, bro.
I mean, I was going to say when me and Kadeem started talking about the music, we were saying how, and we're going to move on. We're not going to stay here too long. How, like, the music we have now, we look at this generation and some of the things that's going on. I'm like, we have to kind of take some onus of it because it started way back in the 90s. Like, a lot of it has kind of just snowballed, like and I will say that I think the only difference is we at least had some popular
Who takes ownership of it?
We did.
It started kind of in our generation. Like a lot of, we might not have been twerking, but you had, several 2 Live Crew like groups coming out, especially once 2 Live Crew got popular, just like most trends, there's other groups that come out that are kind of similar to, and the NWA, the raunchiness of it has kind of changed, where we are today. What I will say, the only difference is we at least had the KRS Ones, we had some Public Enemy, we had at least a little bit of balance.
And don't forget the playfulness. Right. We also had Kwame.
Right.
We had Kid and Play.
Kid and Play, right. And kept it clean and had fun.
They had no cuss words.
Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. They were having fun,
They had no cuss words.
No cuss words. Right. No cuss words. Clean. Right. Clean. These brothers clean. He said smoking weed was viewed as recreational, right? And widely accepted as the cool thing to do. But now, right, they feel popular and take a lot. Right. Because we at least, I think weed was like the highest that we messed with.
Now they don't say everything is synthetic now.
He said, well, I am a 90s DMX listener. I purchased only his clean records. My friends would say that's not DMX. He had some clean stuff.
Yeah.
He had some clean. I wasn't like a big fan.
DMX was in the late, like 99, 2000 type.
Right.
So, I mean.
He had some clean stuff.
Well, you know how that radio goes. You know what I'm saying? So, you know how to. But anyway, moving on to the next topic.
We're going to shift a little bit. All right. So I've been wanting to get Kadeem on in because he wanted to, he had some boiling inside of him. We were going to talk about some conspiracies. Conspiracies that you see. But go on, Kadeem. What's your great conspiracy?
I don't know if anybody has ever read this book called The Pale White Horse, but y'all need to check it out.
Never. What's that about?
It's about how they founded the Federal Reserve.
Ah,
It's about J.P. Morgan, Chase,
put
Rockefeller,
together.
Rothschilds. But that
Nah,
ain't what we're talking about now. But I'm just saying that if you want to go back to some conspiracy, we can go way back.
I mean, at this point, there's so much information. Is it really a conspiracy?
Well, I mean, not. I guess not. You got a point there, brother. I mean,
Yeah.
how everything was. I mean, they made a book.
right.
It's information.
Yeah,
Is it
this is
really
all
conspiracy?
factual. Yeah, this is factual information. I mean, all you
Yeah.
have to
So
do
there are historical events that have been documented and accounted for. So yeah.
I,
deconstruct currency, and all of the information is within the deconstruction of currency.
Yeah.
Deconstruct the financial industry, the banking system, and
Like the dollar is really a poof of smoke. It's not really backed by anything.
Surely that sounds like a book you would read. Oh,
I don't know who
let's
that was
see.
directed to.
You probably me.
Yeah, I think
Well,
those.
you read
Yeah.
it, so
But Sam be digging at me when she
Oh,
can.
you already know. Let's. He said y'all gonna have Walker googling and reading for days. Yes, I'm.
well,
I'm
I
gonna dig
can't
in.
imagine that you have not researched this before.
I've
Even
I've
before this.
I've tiptoed around it.
Yeah.
I've watched certain things. I believe a little bit of it. Like,
Mhm.
some things are just sometimes some things are too systematic. Does it make sense? Like, did it really come together so like perfectly? Because history can rewrite itself when someone writes it later. You
Yeah.
know, it's easier to say certain things happen because you think obviously that had to happen, and that's not necessarily true. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there are facts. There's like J.P. Morgan and some of these other guys. You got tickets, plane tickets, or whatever, private jet information saying that they went somewhere, together. An exact place, maybe nobody really knows. Were they together? Were they separate? Was it a big conference or was it a little conference? Like, how many people were really there? You know,
And that, if you're talking about the creation of the Federal Reserve, it was a small conference with a bunch of rich people.
that's what's been said. And it's now the truth is about, is it J.P. Morgan or Rock? J.P. Morgan has saved the country, right? Hasn't he? Like, I think, was it him that gave money? Like, when we was at our lowest, when we were struggling, he kind of did something to help save the country. I've heard some historic stuff about that. I think it's J.P.
Yeah,
Morgan.
kind of, sort
Yeah.
of. Yeah. Like I said,
I'm saying history wise. That's what I've read or heard. I watched a one of those biography documentaries. Like I said, how
it
true is
was.
it?
No, he was into the banking, right? J.P. Morgan Chase was into the banking.
Right,
Rothschilds was into the banking, but they were European,
right,
and they were lending money
right,
to the United States,
right,
and the United States was getting into debt
right.
with the Rothschilds, but they were trying to make it where there was a world
Like
what's the word I'm looking
a one
for?
world currency kind of thing.
Kind of like that. This was
Yeah.
kind
I
of
mean, think about. I mean,
before.
what is e pluribus unum? It's out of many comes one, something
Right.
like that.
I mean, it's to me though. Like, okay, so like that right
It's
there.
a private. It's defined.
Yeah,
It
this was
began as a
before the
private
pound,
industry.
before the dollar, and before. I mean, because everybody was using natural resources back then.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So everything was backed by gold, and then it was like, well, we ain't got enough gold for
Mhm.
the world. Let's see how we can make this uh, a true currency
Right.
for the country.
Right. I mean,
'Cause, I mean, this was way back in the day,
yeah,
though.
but on that point, I know we're about to go down this rabbit hole, but um, on that, like the
Man.
United States controlling its currency to the point of manipulation is good for them, you know, which is why like the whole centralized money unless it's the US dollar is not the best thing, because when we get in trouble, oh, let's just print some more money. Like they got the button. They can
Yeah.
control it enough, which to me, and y'all might start throwing tomatoes at me, which is bad and good, because when our economy is in the tailspin, they can push the button. Oh, stop it, stop. Let's change this, change it. Let's change some rules so we can get us back up, so everybody doesn't crash. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just like the banks were, when this whole crash happened, oh my gosh, the banks were like, oh my gosh, we all about to crash. You guys need to do something. Like please do something. All right, we got you.
And they did.
Let's print some money, give you some money, so you guys can be okay. So our whole system doesn't crash.
Let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
Did they really print that money?
You said, did they really print it?
Yeah. Did they really pulp, paper, ink, all that? Did they really print that money?
No, they just said you got it. They just go look in your Federal Reserve account. You got a couple of zeros. You got zeros in there. Don't worry. We put some extra zeros. Put the zeros in. Everyone with the power signed off. Like, yeah, give them the zeros.
When Bush got up there and said, "Oh, we're gonna give $750 billion to sustain the United States economy," right, and they was giving it to all them banks, I was like, when they was gonna give $25 billion to the auto industry with zero interest and pay us back when you can.
Right.
I was like, what? I was like, well, why y'all won't give these poor folks y'all giving all these billionaires money
right?
We don't want y'all to be broke.
You give it to them and we're fine. But you give it to us, then we have inflation.
Yeah, I'm like,
okay, so
and for my next trick,
right. Look, the rabbit hole. Yes, indeed, Ephraim. That's the best emoji. The rabbit hole. Yes, indeed. We're going down it, man. It
was crazy though, man. I mean, when the stimulus package,
right,
like you gave all that money to us,
right?
Now we're going into inflation because of it. Right. But like, what's the issue?
Yeah. So
you're gonna get it back in taxes because you're gonna tax everything that we spend. We gonna give y'all what did they give us? $1,200?
Yeah.
A few times or something like per person or something like that.
Right.
But you're gonna tax that at 45%. You get half of it back.
Yeah. And at least positive news, gas prices are coming down a little bit. At least they have around this area. They're under $3 now.
Who's responsible for that?
That's a good question.
Is Biden responsible for that? Because I
don't think so. Like I never give that on the president. Up or down, whoever's in the charge, I don't ever put that on them totally. Like I don't not to date. I know Biden did some move with the reserves.
You want to talk sports?
Is it that bad, Sam? Is it that bad? I'm sorry, it's Friday. It's Friday. You want us to play a game? Who we got in the building? Let's play a game. You want to play a game?
But check it out.
What's up?
We always got these reserves, right?
Always.
You remember Obama did the reserve.
Yeah.
You remember Bush did the reserve.
Yeah, we got a lot.
You remember Clinton did the reserves. I like, where we getting all these reserves from?
Right. No, listen, Sam, I'm with you on that. Like, I don't, even when, I think the first time in my lifetime it spiked was with Bush Jr., and then after looking into it and hearing about it, and even some on the opposite side of Bush, they were like, Bush doesn't really control that. That's the first time I had dealt with the
storm.
You said with Bush, G.W. Bush, when did gas prices go up?
When they probably like not right after, but when they went over the fight after 9/11, it went up. Yo, it went up. It hit $5 once when I was in New York.
Yeah.
I literally did a U-turn. Like, what's going on in this world? Like, I'm about to go get gas.
It didn't go crazy. Gas prices didn't go crazy until 2005.
Was it 2000? Was it 2005?
Yeah, when Bush left office.
When who left office?
No, he was in office.
Yeah,
because after Bush was Obama, and I was
Bush was in there from
during Obama years.
From 2000 to 2008. Obama was in there from 2008. Yeah,
right.
Bush was in there.
Yeah, because I'm about to say it was in the middle of Bush's Yeah, because I was coming home one night, and it was
so
like
we had one increase. The first remarkable increase I saw was 2005.
right.
Well, I saw it in the 90s too, though. I mean, it wasn't $5, but
I didn't. Yeah, I wasn't driving. I wasn't dependent upon.
you wasn't.
I was driving. I was driving, but it was
$7 a gallon.
In 91, 92, 93, it was.
No, I didn't get my license till 94.
Oh, okay.
I was 18.
Well, yeah, it went up back then too, though.
Yeah. So,
but anyway.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry, rabbit hole. All right. So, what did Ephraim say? Give 350,000 to the marginalized and those affected from time of slavery in the U.S. economy. We fixed 1 month. There you go.
Nah, they're not going to even vote on that.
I want to shout out Ephraim for the first argument he's actually put out there for reparations without saying. How do you say reparations without saying reparations?
Yeah, they're not gonna even put that to a vote right there.
He said blaming the brother. Always, you know how we do. He said, Richard said, I remember UK when gas prices were $1.32. I guess that's in his dollars. See, if us, that'd be nice, $1.32.
Well, no, that's
in our dollars.
So
I know. In dollars, that's nice. That'd be nice.
But no, it's euros now, right? Yeah, it's not even pounds no more. It's euros.
Did you just a quick fact? Did you know the Pell Grant used to cover 80% of college tuition? 80%.
Yes.
That's down to now 25%. Y'all know that?
It was in the 80s, right?
Yeah, when they
imagine that?
Yeah, 80%.
I can imagine that.
In other news, well, hopefully it's true to at least most of the people. Jackson Water, Mississippi. The Jackson Water is becoming safe to drink. I guess they're fixing or doing something. They still recommend babies and pregnant women not drink it. I guess everyone else, you got lead stomachs, you can take it. So there's some improvement. Praise God. There's at least some improvement happening there.
That's good.
And lastly, you guys heard about the freight rail strike that might be coming down with the unions and stuff. How do you think that might affect us?
Freight rail, you mean
like the trains, the railroads, and I think that's including passenger rails as well.
Everything that's on them tracks, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they shut it all down.
I wonder how bad that may be. How bad would that be? And can trucks pick up what the freight line can? I don't think they can, because it's like they got the heavy, the real heavy stuff.
Not everything, right?
No, not everything.
At least not to the same extent. I mean, that obviously trains can pull a lot more,
right?
A lot more.
And you got to remember that the infrastructure for the railroad is very intricate from way back in the day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So this most train yards are connected to the big rigs, as far as, because when they offload the trains, they put them on a big rig to ship out there everywhere.
Like the last thing.
So yeah, so if the train stop, big rigs might be unless they get them from the coastline.
Right.
When I say coastline, I mean that's Savannah, Brunswick, that's Biloxi, that's LA, that's New York, Virginia, wherever they got not Longstorm, but what I'm talking about. I forgot what the name of it was. Ports.
Gotcha. Okay.
Imports and export, yeah.
Right.
Wherever they have ports at for
So Gerardo says, I heard something that a tentative agreement had been reached for the rail strike. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Definitely. Let's see.
Them folks at the railroad get paid real good now.
I've heard that.
They get paid real. I got a real close friend of mine work for Norfolk Southern.
You said they have stopped the strike at Amtrak and others. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, I think Biden got involved with these talks to try to get into agreement or figure something out. That's pretty big. That's pretty big.
Yeah. I think it would definitely affect the East Coast and the West Coast.
Okay, we hear you, Pastor.
The middle of the country
Can you hear me now?
Yep. You said the
Yeah,
middle of the country.
middle of the country maybe not affected
Really? Okay.
as bad because it's
Right.
not on the coastline. But
Ah.
but then again, the coastline as well. A lot of
Stuff
imports and exports come
is shipped
in,
into. Right. Right.
yeah,
Right.
and they put them on a train to get them throughout the country. You know what I'm
Gotcha.
saying? And once they get to a certain destination in the country,
Right.
wherever it may be,
Right.
then they load them on big rigs to, you know, get them to they set destination.
Right. Right. Indeed. So, Pastor, what's on your brain this Freestyle Friday that you want to?
Hold on, Brian. Before you say it ain't 9:59 yet. So
Not dad
just
joke
wanted
time.
to remind you of
Not
it's
dad
not
joke time.
9:59 yet. But yes, sir. Please go ahead and speak your mind.
All right.
When AD asks me what's on my mind, that makes it my time.
Oh, gee.
And when he gives me my time, I
Mm.
get the liberty to do and say what I want with my time. No,
Feel
actually,
liberated, my brother. Feel
no.
liberated.
Honestly,
Do your thing. Do your
I'll
thing.
tell you.
Feel
I'll tell you what's been on my heart. What I've been praying about, and I was talking to my wife about it over the last few weeks. Is that there's a study that says in the 90s, the percentage of people that professed to be Christians was at or above 90% in America. People who profess Christ. In 2020, that 90 plus percentage is now it was at 67. 67% of people in America profess to be Christians. So the number has drastically decreased.
I
They
can
said,
believe that.
yeah, they said by 2045, it'll be like 47%. That's what they're projecting. People who, so they're saying that Christians are falling by the wayside. That's what the statistics, that's what the statisticians are saying.
I can believe that. I mean, it's being that the United States in the last 20, 30 years has become so free for expression. I mean, a lot of other different religions, and some folks that with the new generation are not even claiming a religion. You know what I'm saying?
So
So go ahead, bro.
here, I just wanted just to finish this out from my perspective.
Yes, sir.
When I think about where we were in the 90s, remember the 90s, that was the birthing out of mega churches, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where the money was discovered, all kinds of money for economic development, community development, expansion, trying to bring programs back because they felt like we were losing our baseball parks and things like that, community centers, the YMCAs were losing ground, those types of things. But at the same time, crime is going up. There is a morality decline. Okay. So I want to just, I want you to see the downtrodden path since the 90s of behavior in the US. Look how ugly it is today. And the church gets a lot of the blame. They're saying the church has failed us. Where's the church? But then people criticize the church on every hand. But nobody's thinking about the fact that when you look around today and you see how toxic, how ugly, how depressing society can be today, how evil people can be today, and not saying evil hasn't always been here, but the things that are being displayed publicly today, your interaction today, how much worse it is now, right? Mm-hmm. And yet they say we're losing Christians. So the further away from Christ, they say that mental health is one of the most prominent topics today. You need to talk about your mental health. You need to have someone to talk to, right? Get your the mental health industry is growing as fast as the transportation industry. Am I right or wrong?
It seems like it
It
by
seems
all
like
appearances.
right. Everybody's going to get certified. Everybody's becoming a mental. You got life coaches, counselors, mentors, all of that stuff. You have to have someone to talk to. My question is, if Christianity is in decline and mental health is in a rise and everybody's losing their minds and everybody's depressed, not everybody, but the percentages are pretty high compared to the 90s. It seems to me that you need to get back to Jesus because the pattern of behavior is consistent with the decline of Christians.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you ask anyone that was around in the 90s and still around today, you can see the evolution, the downward spiral of interaction and all of that. Now, what I'm saying is I don't agree. I agree with the fact that we see the world the way that it is today. I agree with the fact that, people put a lot of onus on the church.
Right.
They want to hold the church accountable, but people don't support the institution of the church. Right. So my question to you all is, oh yeah, well, we could talk about that, Ephraim, who's to blame and all that, but that's where I'm coming from. We have more information now than we've ever had. Mm-hmm. We have more information now than we've ever had. We've had enough miracles and you see the hand of God move. There are too many unexplainable things. Right. So I have my answers. I'm putting it out there for you all. If you say Christianity, the numbers of Christianity are down, but the appearance of madness is up, is there a correlation to the reduction in Christians and the increase in madness? Just asking.
I don't know, man. With the technology of the day, I think everything is just so instant and in your face. Like there's no buffer. You know what I'm saying? Like when it happened, it's on you right then and there. You know what I'm saying?
But what do you do when it's on you? What do you do when something hits you hard?
Give me more detail about that.
If something knocks you to your knees emotionally, mentally, what is your reaction? What is your response? When something goes wrong, what is your response? How do you respond to trouble? I preached a sermon like that.
I would have to know what trouble and what has knocked me to my knees. I can't say what I would do unless I know what I had to be in that situation. I mean, all this is hypothetical, the questions that you're throwing at me. So I would have to understand what knocked me to my knees in order for me to respond to it. You understand?
I do.
But as far as generalization of what you just said, I would say that being that everything is so instant and almost in real time, and information is so abundant by a fingertip.
Right.
Is Christianity going down, or more people going to something else because they have so much information?
That's it.
And they not.
I think it has been like a shift generationally. There are those, and I feel like there's always those that grew up in church, right? They go out to the world, do their thing,
as I did,
and then a lot of times, they find their way back to the church.
As I am,
right? One thing is, like now I'm out, but then I grab onto something else to have faith in that's not Christianity. So I think that's one tearing away of church. I think another has been a a breakdown in generations in church. We know churches that have older people where young people try to get in and you get beat up on, whereas, or you get corrected harshly because sometimes people don't really correct you in love sometimes, or not, and even young people not even hearing it. So I think it's just that breakdown of generation that happens as well, and there's no coming back. Going back to this information, faith, and something else I can grab onto, because this church thing is a lot, and we know social media has affected people watching. You watch too much or you see too much, and these opinions become your truth. So I truly believe one of the reasons we've lost a lot of our folks because of that, and a lot of the some churches aren't serving communities like that. They're kind of like more in the walls, doing their thing, and not. I
Yeah,
don't think there's a lot of reach out. The church is not the center of community. I feel like it used to be.
that's
You
what threw
know,
me off when
yeah,
I first got to Georgia. Everybody was well. Let me not say everybody. Only the churches that I attended.
there you
I
go.
didn't attend them all.
I went all of them. I went
Yeah,
to
yeah.
every single
Let me make
one.
sure. Yeah, let me make sure. Only the churches that I attended,
Right.
the people, or the pastors, or the reverends, or I mean, they so many, the bishops, the apostles. I had never heard of so many different variations. But the
Right.
churches that I attended, it was all about self gratification.
Right.
What can you do for me? It was all about money, and it wasn't about the community. It wasn't about the word. It wasn't about, what I'm saying, betterment
Right.
of
That's
self.
good. That's good.
And then when I got to the dude who was um, had a large church
Okay.
and was not, don't get me wrong, I have nothing against the homosexual community, but I just grew up where it was, because I was in the church until I pretty much got to Georgia, and it was never a sermon that I heard that promoted homosexuality
Mm.
until I got to Georgia.
Interesting.
Now that's
Interesting.
just that's just me. I mean, the world is a big place. The
Right.
United States is a big place.
Yes,
I'm
indeed.
just talking
Yes.
about me from Houston, Texas,
Come in
coming to
here
Atlanta, Georgia. that's,
to
that's
a
all I'm
particular
talking about.
church. A
I
particular church.
I can't account for no other city or no other person but
Right.
myself.
Right. Right.
But I just wasn't. I wasn't used to it. wasn't comfortable with it. And now, don't get me wrong. Now, got nothing against whatever your sexual preference is.
Right. Right.
I could be cool with anybody.
Right.
Not gonna try to downplay that. But I just wasn't used to it. wasn't comfortable for my mind. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay. That's a good question.
uh,
Ephraim asked, did the church drive the people away, or did they just want to leave? Is this situation black, white, or gray? Interesting. Sit down.
no,
It's
I think
It's
very.
it'd be
it's
all of
it's real. The
Yeah.
situation is not black, white, or gray. It's real.
Right.
Um, and so if you, I wish we could pull it up. Second Timothy. Well, we can just get my Bible. I'm going to go to. I'm going to read the scripture, and then well, it's 10 o'clock. We out of time.
Yeah, come on, man. Come on with you sure you wanna you don't wanna just go with tradition on Fridays at 9:59? It's 10:01 right now. So you're actually 2 minutes behind. You sure you don't wanna
So silly. So silly.
You know what? We'll let's close this week out with what we're gonna open next week with.
All right.
go for it, brother. Go for
All
it.
right.
And then let's see how many people avoid us on Monday.
Go
Don't
for it,
avoid us,
brother.
guys. We need you guys. We love you guys. Don't leave us. Don't leave us.
It is
No,
Freestyle
because
Friday, so you know.
so look at 2 Timothy 3. And 2 Timothy 3:13 says this. It says, "But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse,
Right.
deceiving and being deceived."
Mm-hmm.
The reality is, people are getting, what do they call it? They're getting caught up in the okie doke.
Oh, yeah.
People are losing their values, losing their relationship with God due to the okie doke, because of deceit, seduction, right?
Right.
And he says, continue, but verse 14 says, "But continue thou in the things which thou hast learned and has been assured of, knowing of whom thou hast learned them." In other words, don't lose your first love. Don't lose sight of who the Lord is. Don't allow somebody to come in here and make you believe that there's another source. The reality is, the goal of the enemy is to make you believe, is to deceive and make you believe that there is a better option than the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And what he does is he does that by attacking the church. Mm-hmm. He does that by causing you to focus on people in Christ making a mistake, and that allows you to justify throwing God out the window. Right. Because you can't even live it. Right. That's the reality. Your God can't help you, so what good is he for me? I'm asking. These are the questions that I'm asking, and I mean, like, I have my answers. Can anyone ask you, what do you do? Like, I know you pray. I know that's what you do, right? I was hoping that would be your answer, right?
Oh, okay.
You were getting philosophical, but I wanted you to keep it simple, because the reality, when something goes wrong, I pray. And you know good and well, when something goes wrong, you pray, because you're a believer. You believe that God's going to fix it. That's the first thing. Our first reaction is like muscle memory. Our reaction is to pray, as opposed to cuss.
Yeah, indeed.
Right? I've done them both, but yes.
I get it. But here's the thing. If someone who doesn't know the Lord hears you cuss, does that make God any less real?
Right.
No.
Right. So the message is, don't forget what you've learned.
Right. 100%.
And we're not forgetting what we've learned. We're ignoring what we've learned.
100%.
I guess that's why it didn't sit well with me when I got here. You know what I'm saying? Right. And that was the issue that I had, because I wasn't accustomed to it, never experienced it before. And like, it was like, hold on, I've been in 3-4 churches and none of this like I remember or like I'm accustomed to. Like, hold on, is this a new form of
yeah. Well, we make the mistake of getting lost in culture, getting lost in tradition. That's not my tradition, so that's not my God. That's not how we do it, so that can't be God. That's what we get wrapped up in. If I bring you a gift and it's wrapped in red paper, but you hate the color red, you throw the gift away?
Right.
No, I can't say that.
Yeah.
Right, because it's a free gift.
Well, let me say this: because I stopped going to church, because of I wasn't feeling what I wasn't receiving what I thought I needed to receive.
Right.
But that never stopped me from believing. That never stopped me from praying in my car. That never stopped me from praying when I was taking a shower. It never stopped me from, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But as far as me walking into a church,
right,
of fellowship, that's what I stopped doing for years. You know what I'm saying? But it didn't wane my faith or my belief. I just wasn't doing it in a group setting like I was used to, because the group setting that I went into, I was uncomfortable with.
Makes sense.
That was just for me, though. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's all I'm trying to say.
So I believe it's on both ends. It's for us not to get pulled out with the popular things, and like Jeff was saying, crystals. I saw someone with sage. Like, sage? Like, when did we start doing? And they're a professed believer. Sage? Like, when did we start doing? And I think we've fallen away. We've tried to find other things, just like, oh, we're gonna take that and we're gonna put that part of our spiritual walk in it, then your walk is kind of off. But at the same time, I feel like our churches, not all, right? Like Kaneem, not
Yeah.
all,
Yeah.
um, are has fallen away from serving what we need. Like I'm missing something. And if I go like Kaneem, going too many places, and I've gotten bad food, it's like I know food is still necessary. I know I need to eat, but these places are garbage. Like they're not giving me what I need. And hold on, no one's coming up to ask me, "Did you like your meal? You know,
Yeah.
was the meal good?" And Kaneem was like, "It was okay, but I'm missing blah say blah." And they could be like, because it might have been one time you might have went, right. Some places you might have went more than once, but some spots you go on one time, you're like, never again. But if someone came up to me, they're like, you know what, this Sunday we was off. Come Tuesday, trust me, you based on what you said, you'll like the meal. And I would come back. Like if someone caught me, they're like, yo, you leaving early, you good? Other than let me keep it real, other than some junk, you just like, this spirit don't seem right. Like outside of that, someone came like, hey, try Tuesday, without the pressure, just like, hey, come back Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever the midweek, you'll probably like the meal then. You know what I'm saying? Like just
Well,
give
I
us one
think,
more shot.
see, for me, I had to learn, like people will disappoint you. It's what we do.
Yeah.
Right. Jeff was saying something consistent with what Kaneem was saying. I was going to ask you to put that up there.
Yeah, I just about to put it up.
Yep.
It said Kaneem is relatively typical. I'm on the same program. I used to be a member of a church on the board, but I don't go to church. I don't even go to church anymore.
Right. And so the question is, you're saying I don't go to church anymore, but my question is, why did you stop going?
I wanted to know too, but if you could,
and I'm not. It's rhetorical. Why did you stop going to church? Did you stop liking the people? Did you cut off relationships with in fellowship that you had with the people that were in the church, or did you just get busy and figure out, no big deal, I still love the Lord? And the reason I say that is because the practice of going to a church building, I think, gets lost on people. I'm not going to the church to get saved. To get saved, I go to Christ. The church is for building, for making, for constructing, Bible study, Sunday school, prayer, fellowship, encouragement, the strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak, so that when I'm weak, then am I made strong, right? When you see your brother overtaken in a fault, them that are spiritual or wise, go and restore, right? You can't get that fellowship and that iron sharpening iron without going and meeting with people, right? The solemn assembly is what the scripture calls it. And so I think we've lost the understanding of why we come together, right?
Yep.
We find every excuse to not come together. And so the relationship and the strength of our spiritual ecosystem begins to wane. It begins to weaken.
100%.
So we get isolated, right?
Yep.
And then the further away you get, the easier it is for you to become against. We find excuses. We need any excuse. Well, I don't need to go to the church. Well, them folks ain't doing nothing for me anyway. Well, then not only they're not doing anything for me, they're not doing anything for anybody.
Nobody.
Right. One thing just it go and the thing. So we misunderstand the definition of church. Right. The church is here. That four walls. It's a building, and we call it a church. But we don't understand the true definitions because we don't have the word. The Bible says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." Ignorance kills.
Right.
It kills. And so for me, and again, I'm not trying to give you all the answer here. I know what my answers are. I was just trying to have a conversation and see what people are thinking, because there's a whole lot to this. But I wanted to open that door.
I want to have that conversation. I want to get them all. I want all the pastors and bishops and ministers. I want them all on this show. We can have a whole 2-hour conversation. I would
We
love.
can.
I
Right, and
can't. I
we
can't
got to get
even
into
get
a
that.
shouting match about it. Like I want
Hey,
my
I,
totally traditional. I want my neo Christians. I want them all in it. I'm serious. Like I want to have that conversation. And really have it out. And and until the point I'm like, put the Bible down. Don't take the Bible and weaponize it. Like get into that part because read the whole script. People take part. No. Keep reading. People take a part of the scripture like no. Keep reading.
exactly, man. Because I grew up reading about. Man, my mama made me read that Bible from front to back. I don't know how many times. I'm talking about like that was her version of punishment. Go read the Bible. You know what I'm saying? That was
now. See, you're saying something that's deep right there, right? Because how many young people are going to keep from being in trouble, or has the church or Jesus been used as a weapon so much so that people have become anti-Jesus, and that's another part of the conversation.
That too.
What has made the church, the institution of the church, so unattractive?
Right. There's a lot.
I can't say it's unattractive though. I mean, but I'm in a whole different generation. Well, no,
listen,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm only talking about for those who feel that way, because not everyone. I don't agree. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We did a couple of years ago. We did we do this Thanksgiving basket. We give away turkeys, Thanksgiving giveaway, right? And I remember the story I'm talking about when I went to the barbershop. AD, remember that year? That was that 2019?
Pre-COVID, everybody. Pre-COVID.
And we were giving away dinners for the holidays.
Giving away.
I mean, I don't know how many turkeys we had. I think we had like 100 turkeys or 80 something turkeys or something. And we put this marketing out there, and I'll never forget. I walked out of the church and went over to a barbershop, and I wanted to let them know that we were giving away these meals, turkeys, and the average weight of the turkey was 15 pounds.
Yeah.
Average, right? I walk in the door. Now I know the owner of the barbershop. I walk in the door and I hear, and it's probably 20 people in there because it's right before the holiday. And I can hear one of the barbers say out loud, "That's why I can't stand the church. They're over there right now, over there across the way at the church, selling turkeys. It's Thanksgiving, and they over there selling turkeys." I'm walking in the door to tell them that we're giving them away, and I'm offering it to customers in the barbershop. Right. And the owner of the barbershop looks at me, and he can see the look on my face like, "What?" And he says, "Hold on, don't say anything." Because the guy didn't realize I was the pastor coming in. So when he got finished talking, the owner of the barbershop says, "Oh, well, you can ask the pastor because he just walked in the door." And the guy didn't want to ask me the question. "Oh, I don't have anything to ask him."
Right.
You're doing all this talking, and now the source is here, and you have nothing to ask me, right? He didn't want to ask me if we were selling turkeys, but he wanted to tell people that we were selling turkeys. Right. I came and I said, "Well, listen, we're not, I apologize. There seems to be a misunderstanding. We're not selling turkeys. We're giving them away. In fact, I can have a couple of the deacons bring a few of the turkeys. And even those of you who are looking for some side items, we have boxes of side items as well." And so when I said it, the mood in the barbershop was like, "Ooh, he got you." You know what I mean? And I'm like, "No, that's not what this is. I just want to make sure you all understand that it's available to you all. I apologize if there was any confusion." It wasn't any confusion on my part. He was just casting dispersions on the church because for whatever reason, he doesn't like the church. He's against it. Make sense? And what I'm saying is, go ahead.
I definitely wouldn't have been apologizing.
Right.
That's your story. Go ahead.
But I'm saying, that's listen, I've got plenty of stories like this. Walking out on a parking lot and wanting to invite someone to church. I see a man and his family with little babies, and I say, "Hey, how you guys doing? Pleasure to meet you. Hope you're having a great day. Hey, listen, we pastor church such and such. Man, don't give me that stuff. I don't want to have nothing to do with that church. All y'all do is take people's money."
Straight up, that's how he came at you.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, like, I get, like, that's not my issue. Someone asked earlier, how do we get people back to the church? I think it was Jeff. And my point is, the only thing we have to do is lift up Jesus. He said, "And I be lifted up from the earth." So I don't want to, again, I told you, I didn't look at the clock. I didn't realize how late we were.
You're fine. You're fine.
But that's a lot of the mindset. That's not everybody's mindset. I tell people, look, I'm in the church because I have to be.
Right.
I need those vitamins. Not everybody needs it as much as I need it. We're all from different places.
Right.
You know what I mean? But for me, for my life, that's what I've chosen. But I believe that what's important is that you have a relationship with Christ.
Right.
I can talk about your relationship with your institution, your church building, the business affairs and the community outreach. And we can talk about that kind of stuff. But the reality is, if you don't have a relationship with Christ, you've lost.
But
that's
but can we say that? How can I solidify my relationship with Christ if I'm struggling in the ministry that I'm a part of?
Right. Well, I think, who was it? Joaru, who asked the question about going to the hospital. Do you leave the hospital because other people are sick, or just find the right doctor?
Right? We've left hospitals.
I know, but listen to my point. My point is, the hospital is not your healer.
Right.
That doctor is not your healer.
Right.
That doctor's been ordained by God to help you, but your healing doesn't come from the doctor. Support comes, but healing comes from the Lord. The problem is we forget our true source. Doctors are necessary, just like leaders, churches, pastors, evangelists, missionaries, deacons, prophets are necessary. The fivefold ministry is all God gave these to the church for the perfecting of the saints. All of this is necessary, but that doesn't mean everybody fits you and your culture. Like, everybody doesn't like Lenny Williams. Everybody doesn't like Prince. Everybody doesn't like Mariah Carey. I'm all these old people. I don't know. I don't know any new artists.
That's
sorry.
Good. Listen, you're in the right audience anyway. You're in the right audience.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean you don't like music.
Right. I hear you. But
you pretty much saying what I was saying, but you saying it your way.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you pretty much said what I was saying, because I mean, like, I could go and attend your church because your message I can resonate with.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, why I mean, it's a couple of churches that I've been to. Church in Chapel Hill. I think I got some nuggets and some comfort from going there. But also, my wife is kind of like, that's not going to be our church home. So, and I'm like, I never really thought about a church home, per se. You know what I'm saying? Like, all this is Georgia with talking church home, and you know what I'm saying? I'm like, because I grew up in one church all my life. You know
I got you.
So but when you going from church to church, I'm leaving this church because I have a problem with this individual. I'm leaving this church because I got a problem with this individual. I'm on, I hear my wife's stories about why she left here.
Gotcha.
And why she went here.
Okay.
And why she went here. You know what I'm saying? And I've never really experienced that, but I know the experiences I did have when I went to church here were not positive. I ain't gonna even say positive. It wasn't what I was looking for or accustomed.
I got you.
Yeah.
I think
it's heartbreaking. Go ahead, Eddie. It's heartbreaking, though, to see the level of confusion.
Right.
I pray and I push because it's so critical for me to impress upon others how important it is to have a real relationship with the Lord. Right. And it's heartbreaking to see so many people lost. Right. That's the thing, because what you get in the Lord is incomparable. And the fact that people believe, and this is why we work so hard. This is why the people who are in the people who are in Christ have to step up and make Christ, the name of Christ, known throughout the land. Right. That's why he said, "Go ye therefore, preaching unto all nations, teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded you." If the numbers are down, it's because there are not enough people who profess to know the Lord doing what they're supposed to be doing. Right. So, when is the last time you told someone about Jesus as a believer? This is my
for myself. It's been years.
Right. This is my encouragement to everybody listening. When you look at the numbers being down, the numbers can only be down if you have stopped lifting him up. So for every believer, tell somebody about your God. Right. Tell somebody what he's done for you. Right. Don't keep it to yourself. You want to know why you go to church? So that someone else can know, wow, if he can do it for him, then he can do it for me. Right. The reason why we need so many mental health experts is because we don't have enough people testifying of the goodness of the Lord. When the disciples could not rebuke the enemy, the demon out of the man, they asked Jesus, how come we were not able to cast him out? Jesus said, this kind cometh but by fasting and prayer. We're the prayer warriors. We're the people pushing things back and making room for the Lord to do something and to give you more revelation in your life. I'm talking about the believers, because the word gets spread abroad through believers. Mm-hmm. Through us, those who say we're Christians, who say we believe in the Lord, we're the ones who are responsible for doing that. Wow. So if the numbers are down, that means we're not doing our part.
Yeah. I agree with what you just said, but I also agree that therapy is necessary.
Oh no, see, that's the thing. Like, someone will take I love that point. See, someone will take what I just said and make it appear as though I am against mental health. Mm-hmm. Right? Absolutely couldn't be further from the truth. What I am saying is we need Jesus. I'm not saying we don't need mental health. I need people to talk to. I need someone to be able to communicate with and express myself, talk things through so that I can make better, more informed and healthy decisions. I can respond to trouble the right way. I need that. That's absolutely necessary in my life. What I'm saying is one does not replace the other, and there's no greater source than the one who made you.
Indeed. I think with that, like the therapy or even the counsel, the pastor ministers are, the moments when I feel disconnected, the Bible says, who shall separate us from the love of Christ? It's not Christ's love leaving, it's our feeling of separation through our actions a lot of time, thinking or whatever. Yeah. And I need to, pastor, I'm feeling like God is like 20 galaxies away right now. Yeah. He's right here, but I feel like, so it's I'm putting on you to help lead me back, in a sense. Like, come on, let's process this.
God hasn't moved. You did.
Right. I did. Right. And let's talk about that. But I wanted to bring up some Gerard. Where's it at? Gerard. All right. So Gerard said, just about anyone may have an issue with someone else in church, but unless that person is part of leadership, why leave? Now, what I'm going to say is, if I have issue, I need to be able to, hey, pastor, hey, minister, I got issue with brother Kaneem because of boom, boom, boom. Because I'm gonna vent this out because this joker here, blah, 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 And my prayers minister either says, okay, either if we're working there, let's see if we can make it right. talks to me like, well, maybe you misinterpret, maybe blah, 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 blah. There needs to be some kind of reconciliation. So there's two parts. One, leadership should try to help mend relationships. And two, as the person that got hurt or had offended needs to say something. So I think it's a two-part thing. I get, like, Kaneem, if you just walked in, this your second Sunday, like I done been offended first Sunday by one person, second Sunday, this other deacon done pissed me off. Like,
so that's another one that I want
Yeah,
to.
and one thing I'll say about that is that it, like Jararu said, it is leadership. That's why you leaving. I wouldn't leave because of the person sitting next to me in the pew.
right,
I have an issue with them.
Right.
It's the person that's in front of me,
right,
that's speaking to me from the pulpit,
right.
is why I'm leaving.
Mm.
It's not the person that's in the pew next to me.
Would you be willing to say to the pulpit person, whether that's from deacon to pastor to bishop, this is my issue? Would you be willing to say something? And let's go based on the things you heard, other than, I guess, the one promoting homosexuality. There's no real, that's a belief.
Oh,
it's
the
like,
one that was all about the money?
Well, it doesn't matter. Anybody besides the one about the homosexuality, other than him or her, other than that, the other churches, like, would you have been willing to? Because sometimes you're like, I just got here. I don't like it. I'm out. You know what I'm saying? Like, but would you be willing to take a moment?
That, because I just got there. I wasn't a member of the church.
Right.
I was a
No,
visitor.
I get it.
You know what
and
I'm
you
saying?
feel like it's the culture.
So I probably wouldn't.
I got you.
Have that to have a debate.
Well, you feel like it may be a debate, but wait, hold on, hear me out. But you may say something, and he or she may be like, "I didn't realize I came off like that." Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do understand what you're saying. Would I go?
Would I? I'm just asking. Let's keep it real.
I'm still thinking of it as a debate, because me being a visitor,
right,
and I'm hearing this message. This is not the first time that you probably said this message.
Right.
This is part of. Not saying that you don't have a different message for every service.
Right.
But
you want to give me another shot? You out? You want to give me another shot? You're not gonna give me another shot just because I was on this money tip today.
But that's just me, though.
Of a struggle.
I may be narrow-minded. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because I can cut people off and I keep moving,
right?
And it doesn't affect my psyche. It doesn't affect my heart. I never was invested. You feel what I'm saying?
I'm with you.
So would I go up to the leadership of this church that I'm visiting and let them know that I was not moved, or the message was not accepted or received? Would I do that? Probably not.
Right. I got what you're saying. Okay. Pastor, you about to whip something out. Go ahead.
I gotta jump. Okay. Y'all. I gotta get on another call. I love y'all. Have a wonderful weekend.
All right, brother. Enjoy that weekend, man.
Yes, sir. Take care. All right. So I guess he was keeping the fire going with that. But I definitely listen.
Just about 45 minutes on the church.
I know, right? Listen, Lisa, thank you so much for rocking with it. Listen, guys, I appreciate you being here. I want to get into this conversation. Like, I want to get a lot of people in here, some from different variations of ministry, and even those that have kind of fallen away and have thrown up the middle finger to the church. I want to have them in here as well. Just kind of see where we can go, see if we can get there in a civil manner. right. Yeah, you said the wood for the fire left, right?
For sure, Jeff. For sure.
You said y'all know who you're working with, right? But definitely want to have more of this conversation, because it's imperative. It's imperative. I feel like there's been such a disparity, a big gap, and like you said, so much available information. Like, see people online with sage and the meditation, and it's funny because we heard about meditation. I was like, oh, just kind of concentrate. But then this thing called projecting, I was like, oh man, all right, it's going too far. So he said, he said I was just being quiet. AD, my topic. Oh, for the past 5 years, nice.
I don't know the topic. What's the topic?
Oh, he kind of like gives inspirational words and messages and preaches a little bit on does
Oh,
lives
okay.
about that. Kenny brought up a real good situation that is common. Right, it's common. It's common. It is common. You trying to find this, especially like for you. You have been in the church for years. You grew up in. It's kind of like now It's almost like you're looking for what you had,
Yeah.
and I think that's a challenge too. The looking for what you had, as well as
It
not hearing
fed
some.
me. It fed my mind. It fed my soul.
Wow.
It fed my heart. So when
Right.
you looking for, because it wasn't nothing but positive energy.
Right. Right.
So when you go somewhere, you be like, hold on, what
We
you
never
want?
did this.
You want us to give you $1 million? You want us to get you a new car? You want us to buy you a new house? I mean, that's what you preaching up there. Like, you know what I'm
Wow.
saying? Like,
I got you.
yeah, and the Lord gonna have it for me, and the Lord gonna say,
Yes, there you go. Yeah.
how we gonna get $1 million? And don't y'all want me to have $1 million?
Right.
Everybody say amen.
Right. 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 I
Really?
got you. Listen, I got you. I got you.
I'm like, why you
Yeah.
ain't promoting something good for others?
Yeah.
Why is it all about you? I mean, it's your church,
Right.
and we in here listening to you
Right.
as the leader of your church,
All right.
but you saying that we
We.
gonna pray for you
Right.
to get $1 million.
Right. Right.
We gonna pray for you to get a new car. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
You
All
the
right.
leadership. You supposed to be.
Praying for me to get. I
Yeah.
need a new car.
Hey,
My joy just barely made it here.
but that's what I was. It just did because my Pastor Sampson
Yeah.
from Friendship Missionary Baptist Church
Friendship.
would never speak about himself. You feel
Never.
what I'm saying?
I got you. Listen, you grew up
He would never
hearing a
speak
certain
about
thing. Yeah.
himself.
Yeah. Like this ain't right. This ain't
It
right.
was always about others. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? If I get a blessing, it's because
Right.
I've been blessed.
Right.
But I'm never anyway.
Right.
Go
No,
ahead.
I got it. Like I'm listen, this is the way I've been walking. So God has blessed me. If you walk this way, you could get blessed too. Like that. Like at least
Always give to others.
right, right.
It's better to give than to
Receive.
receive. But
Right.
this cat was better to receive than you know what I'm saying?
No, listen.
Like,
He just said he's better for you to give.
yes,
I'm
yes.
sorry.
And
I'm sorry.
I will
Yeah,
receive. That's
right.
yeah,
So
exactly.
you get blessed. I receive,
Exactly.
you get blessed. Um, but yet, listen, Jeff said we've tried churches, but seemed so big, nobody even really says hi. I got you. I mean, listen, ministries can get rough at times, but you just I don't know. Sometimes we can kind of go on knowing what we want, right? It's not just for Kadeem because I know it's a struggle sometimes. Just you trying to feel comfortable because you sit down, you're like, okay, got you sitting in the pew, you're like, okay, kind of feeling out the vibe of the church and looking at the people. And I definitely wish Pastor was still here, but sometimes the people that work or volunteer because they're not getting paid, like the ushers or whatever. Listen, they could be having a bad day. They just, I'm trying to get through this job. Oh yeah, come on in, come sit right. Like I'm having a moment. Like I'm trying to give you the best customer service, just not coming out good. Because I know, we've had the ushers that just really funky, but they're funky because people don't want to like, hey, I need no, you can't sit back there. I need you to sit. Please, can you sit over here? Like, can you scoot down? Like I'm trying to make room. And you get right, Jim. throw that up fast. Right. Some biscuit, so it just you get to that point, and so as a worker in the church, sometimes you get burned out and you get tired, and that can spill over into members, into other people. So I think it's a lot of work that needs to be done. You understand what I'm saying? And it's a
Yeah.
lot of what's the reason, what's the reasoning for doing what you do? It's a lot
Well,
of
let me ask you this, brother. Have you ever left the church?
oh yeah, 7, 8 times. Yeah, I've worked like I'm kind of like Jeff. I never made it to the board, but I was entrenched. Like when my leaving had an impression because I was doing something over something. Yeah,
And was it the people that were sitting next to you and the people in the congregation that made you leave, or was it leadership?
leadership. It was always
Always leadership.
it was always the pastor.
Oh yeah,
Like
always.
it's never been
It's never been
anybody
the person sitting
but the
next to
pastor.
you,
Yeah,
to your left or
never.
your right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, never.
It's always been leadership.
Leadership. It's always been leadership. Always been leadership.
So yeah, that's why I say. I mean,
Yeah,
and you say 7 or 8 times,
yeah.
but you
Oh
stay
yeah.
consistent about keep going
I
to
think
the
7, 8.
next church. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
about the
saying?
only church I left 2 churches because I moved. But outside of that, most have been the relationship and their character. They was cool, but yeah, they had some stuff that I didn't like. I'm just put it that way. Um, Sidral said I only left the church once, leadership, but not the pastor. Okay, okay. I mean, I get you saying Gerald, and depend on the size of the church, of course, but like I don't know, long can you work it out? And we have to get into a place where when you're in a ministry, that let's keep it real, we're just not gonna like everybody.
Hmm.
You work, you have a job, you don't like everybody, but you learn to work together. You're like, listen, I don't like you, you don't like me, but we got to get this job done. Like I'm gonna serve over here, you're gonna serve over here. For whatever reason, there's character flaws. We're not gonna like each other. I think that's the biggest thing that ministry needs to push. Like, listen, you have to love your brother, but you don't have to like him because there's certain things, certain characteristics. There's gonna be political differences, like social differences, like somebody like you
Well,
say Black Lives Matter, I say all lives matter. We may not agree on that, so
yeah,
it's gonna
I
be
think
different.
I could. I think I could deal with anybody on a personal level,
Right,
but I'm not gonna let you lead me into something
right,
that I'm not comfortable with.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I mean,
Look at this. Jeff said I had issues with a few guys hugging my wife too long.
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel you on that, Jeff.
That could
Hey,
be
it should be a
offensive.
two. It should be a
Okay.
2 second rule,
Okay, sis. We
not
good,
a
sis.
3 second rule. It should be like come in, bam, and
All
come
right.
on back
Come
out.
on, all
You know
right.
what
Come on
I'm
back up. I
saying? Yeah.
side hug. I don't even full hug. Hey,
I don't care. I don't care if it's a front hug, side hug, back, whatever it is. It should be a
only
two
for
second rule.
only for a
Get
minute.
in, get out. You know what I'm saying? Don't be going there holding her and going side to side. No.
It's
Let my
side.
wife know.
All right. All right.
2 seconds.
Oh,
Get in,
let's
get
see.
out.
Let's see. It involved his fam long term. Oh, hold on. Gerald said something earlier. I missed. Okay, left. Oh, he only left one church leadership. Okay, and it involved his fam. Okay, long-term friends. So I didn't talk to the pastor, but I tried twice. But I'm sure he never got the mess. Okay, try to send messages to him. I got you. I got you. That's rough. That's rough when it's close. When it's close people that are doing stuff, and that's detrimental to your ministry. Like if that's your brother or something real close, and right, all rocking back and forth.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah. Nah, let my wife go. Yeah, get in, get out. Yeah. Good to see you. All right. You know what I'm saying? I
girl.
can back up a little bit. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, right. Oh man. All right. Yeah, so we're gonna get into this conversation. Me and you could be here for hours talking about this. All right. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I gotta
so
get out of here anyway.
we appreciate you guys for rocking with us all week long. The extended version of Freestyle Friday. And if you're watching on replay, listen, man, I appreciate you. You watched a whole hour and 41 minutes. hour and 30, I guess, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
He said, dude, it got to the point I'd watch. Wow. All right. So, yeah, that's an issue, man. That's an issue. But yeah, appreciate you. Make sure you stay connected. Text LWN to 84576. Text LWN to 84576. Also help us increase Cash App us BOL 2019. Increase the work that we do. He said, dude, my blood pressure shot up. Would shoot up. Let's see. Bro said the good old church hug. Oh, I mastered. We'll stop that. Right, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny. And I know we gotta go. Like New York, where I came from, yeah, they don't do the hugging. Yeah, don't do the hugging like that unless they know you. You don't get the. There's not all that hugging. There's handshaking, but they ain't. Yeah, they ain't a bunch of like stranger hugs. Unless we have a real relationship, a huggy relationship. Yeah, I think that's different with New York. And people are like New York is so hard, but it's true. Like
Now, hey,
we didn't do it.
I know we finna get out, but you remember when we first got invited to the couples at your house?
Yes, yes,
First time.
yeah,
Wasn't no hugging.
right,
Hey,
right,
hey,
right,
but
right.
then Mike
Yeah,
McNair, he was like, "Oh man, bring it in, brother." I was
yeah,
like,
right,
"Okay, well, I wasn't gonna even go there." You know
right,
what I'm saying?
right,
I
right.
was fist bump,
Yeah,
handshake. So
yes, sir.
bring it on in, brother. I was like, "Okay."
Oh man, now with guys, I don't mind. Like ladies, like you approach me if you want an embrace or whatever, but I don't really because it gets weird and wonky sometimes. So yeah, that's optional. And like I
Oh
said,
yeah,
I grew up coming from New York ministry. Yeah, we don't. The hugging thing is
yeah.
always an optional.
But I practice what I preach.
Right,
You know, hey, all right, have a good one. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
2
Lean
seconds.
in.
2 seconds. You know what I'm saying? You see me?
Right. Yep.
Bang. And I'm on my way. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Good. The lean.
I got to
All
practice
right,
what
too
I
long.
preach.
Too long. Too long. All right. Oh, all right. We're gonna get out of it. Yeah, right. Keep it cool with women. Jeff said I'm the same. All right, let's go. We gotta see you next week. Stay connected. Stay connected. And be blessed.
Oh,
Be safe.
sharing and sharing.
Sharing is caring.
Oh,
Sharing is
988.
988. Yes, mental health crisis. 988. You or someone you love. And drive safe. Drive safe. Too many accidents. All right. Know that we love you. Jesus loves you more. Or Jesus loves you better. Take care. Peace out.